There we go. All right. So welcome to this quarter's Computer Science Advisory Board meeting. We've got a great presenter who'll be joining us and sharing some words of wisdom in just a little while. But before we get to our presenter, I want to kind of give you a quick update on some things that have been going on in the region, as well as some updates on the Alliance and where we've been and since we last met. But and then we'll bring in our speaker and we're going to go into some breakout discussions towards the end of the meeting today, where we want your feedback on ideas and topics that would be great and helpful for you as K-12, either computer science educators or K-12 administrators who want to bring more computer science into your district. And then we'll do a report out and a quick wrap up. So welcome. Before we get things fully launched off though, I do want to thank all of our investors, the companies on the page you see here, as well as the companies on this page are all critical in helping make everything the Alliance does happen. Without their investments of time and money, we wouldn't be able to do the many exciting things we do for both K-12, higher ed, as well as for our local companies. So thank you to our investors. Quick updates on the Alliance. It's been a busy year, as many of you I'm sure have also experienced. So in addition to many of the efforts the Alliance is engaged in, we've also rebranded this year in recognition that IT is not just in the IT department anymore. So we've gone from being the new IT Alliance to the new Digital Alliance. And while it was very clearly spelled out when we were the new IT Alliance that we had a huge effort around talent attraction, development, and retention, that is still there as part of our foundation, but we've kind of broadened our horizons a little bit and said, you know, talent is also about collaboration, and we want to advance that collaboration in the region here in Northeast Wisconsin. So with that, we've also gone and identified new strategic pillars, and read through those here. The one that we settled on this year that's going to be our big focus for growth has been in this collaboration space. So things have been a little bit more challenging throughout this year, as many of you too have also, I'm sure you've also experienced. But we've been collaborating with New North on a federal grant that they're applying for to help increase broadband in the region. We're collaborating with our higher eds and our employers to we've come up with some ideas that are going to increase their partnership opportunities and collaboration moving forward as well. And kind of hoping once we get that pilot launched in February, that as that gets underway, some of what we take from our Tech Connect Pro opportunity will trickle down into the K-12 space as well, bringing along some exciting opportunities we hope for our teachers and students in the early side of the talent pipeline. So more to come there. And then of course, you know, we've kept going with everything that we've always been doing, including our new Connect IT event, which we conducted virtual this year. And so our talent committee took what had been a face-to-face event at Lambeau Field. We flipped it to a virtual event and collaborated with Inspire Sheboygan to help run that. We did 6 sessions, each of 1 hour, and we had panels made up of from our local colleges as well as companies. And we serviced over 600 students in the K-12 students in the state of Wisconsin. We also had, you know, and then they represented 86 different high schools, and we even had a couple middle school and elementary schools participate. And then we had students from 8 colleges across the state of Wisconsin also participate in the event. So truly blowing the numbers out of the water from what we typically experience with this event when we're at Lambeau. For comparison, last year at Lambeau Field, we bussed in 360 high school students to that event. So this was a huge impact growth for the state. And then, to make all that happen, we had 26 presenters from our local colleges and companies who were talking with all these students who were eager to learn about IT. And those individuals came from the organizations you see listed at the bottom of the screen. So again, huge thank you and round of applause to our presenters and panelists who connected with all of these students. We had some great conversations, and I think we've may even have converted a few of them based on a couple of the emails I received afterwards. So thank you very much. And then continuing on, we're continuing our classroom conversations. So where we've got teachers who are reaching out to us, we do come in. These days it just happens to be virtual, and do classroom conversations. Just had a great conversation today with the Appleton School District with one of their marketing classes. Not only sharing with them about IT and how that relates to marketing, but then also sharing the college programs we have in region that relate to marketing. Smart Girls Rock, we presented there at their annual event. That's one that's conducted by the Fox Cities Chamber every year. And then we also sit on the Howard Swamico Computer Science Advisory Board. And I forgot to put it on here, my bad. We also sit on the Sheboygan Area School District Computer Science Advisory Board. Now this is not directly Alliance related, but CSTEY, which stands for Computer Science Ecosystem Youth. This is a Brown County initiative. And their whole purpose is to increase computer science education in the region. So we are starting to collaborate, and they have got a great events page as well as a really good resources page, not only for students, but also for our educators. So we encourage you, particularly this week, to go out and check out their codewisco.com page, because they've got some exciting things going on that they're sharing this week, which happens to be Computer Science Week. All right, so that's kind of the lowdown for the Alliance. Wrapping up, more information, you can find out what we're doing on our CS Advisory Board page. If you go out to our website under the More Information tab, we do have a page where we are storing the documents and recordings from past meetings out there, so you can go and access those at any time. The Tech Talent Summit data is out under our quarterly meetings tab. Our ecosystem fact sheet, working to update that. That's where we're sharing all the data that we're collecting. And then we published our first annual report this year, and that is also available out on our website under the About Us space. So you can look to see all the exciting things we've done the last few years, and then a little bit about where we're headed from here. All right, I see there's a few chats. Thank you. So Marcy has shared in the chat a link out to their digital technology pathway work in Northeast Wisconsin. And Jakob has shared a link to our website. So thank you for that. All right, so with that, I'd like to welcome our guest speaker, Becky Walker. And in just a moment, I am going to have her presentation up here. And Becky is going to share with us some of the wonderful work that they are doing in Howard Swamico with their Computer Science Advisory Board. So thank you, Becky, for joining us.
Thanks, glad to be here. And I may also have Chad Banky, who is computer science teacher at Howard Swamico and helps lead our computer science work, might jump in also to help share some details as we move along. So excited to share the pathway we've been on the last couple of years in Howard Swamico. We've really made some strides and have a ways to go yet, but we're making a difference, and excited about the things that we've been doing. So we'll give you an update on just what we've been doing the last couple of years. We did share some of this last year, so I'm going to move through some of those things relatively quickly and then let you know what we're doing this current year in computer science. So if you want to move to the next slide, we can share with you a video. I think you should be able to click on this.
Everybody hear that okay?
Yep, let's see if
we are moving forward with a K-12 computer science focused initiative in the Howard Swamico School District that makes sure that every student gets a formalized computer science education, at least an opportunity at each grade level to see where computer science is used and how they can develop skills in computer science.
From my freshman through my junior years of high school, the computer science program was very different. We did it independently and just learned the basics of coding. However, this year, we are really focusing on maybe what is the hardware behind the computers that we use in everyday life and what are the fundamentals and principles of computer science.
I'm actually glad that they created the new program compared to what they used to have. And I'm glad at where it's gone in the short time that it's been implemented.
Go to codewisco.com for more information.
So what you're seeing there is a first viewing, because these will be coming out this week. As you know, it's Computer Science Week here in Wisconsin. And these videos have been done through the ecosystem for computer science with Brown County that was mentioned earlier from Kim, that we've just started in the past year. It kicked off last winter, just prior to the safer at home order and all the shutdown from COVID, that we're really just trying to strive in Brown County to bring computer science to our youth. And so with that effort, this is one of the videos that's been created that will be airing this week on TV with some of the school districts in the area. So this is the one that we did for Howard Swamico. And it's just so exciting to see. Those are two of our high school students, and Chad, who is our high school computer science teacher. So the last couple of years of work that we've been doing, we've revamped all of our high school computer science courses. We're on a pathway of just starting that work. So this is our first year of redoing the courses. And so over the next few years, there'll be more courses redone. We couldn't redo them all at one time because kids can't take all of them at one time. So you can see in the excitement in the students, just the change. They just absolutely love it. And so we have had computer science courses in the past. Enrollment was relatively low. And, you know, kids were taking the courses, but they weren't necessarily overly excited about what they were doing in the courses. And now, as you can see, they're pretty excited about it. And so it was neat to do the video and just hear what the kids had to say. And that's what they had to say. You know, they're just really excited about the change with it. So, you know, wanted to share that with you. That will come out Friday on TV. That one will be played on TV. So we just thought it would be neat to share it with you today. So if you want to go to the next slide, Kim, I'll just give you a little bit of background in timeline. In 1819, when we kind of got started, was when we did an analysis of the.
Hold on.
K-12
okay.
I'm not sure what I did.
Initiative in the Howard Swamico School District that makes sure that every student.
When you hit forward, it probably just played it again.
There we go.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
So when you just kind of look at our timeline when we got started, as I mentioned, you know, we had low enrollment in our high school courses, and you know, it was kind of hit or miss. We had things that were happening in our schools in terms of some computer science, but it just wasn't consistent. We had some elective courses, and some students got it, some students didn't. And we just wanted a consistent program. We wanted to make sure every student had the opportunity to experience computer science and to consider it as an option for a career someday. And so we knew we needed more consistency. And so we formed a computer science lead team. It's grown since the time that we started. It was smaller at the beginning. And then we knew that we wanted to start some internal and external committees. And so we did a survey, and we created the survey that we used with all of our staff in the district to figure out what people knew about computer science and whether they thought they were teaching computer science. And it was really interesting for us to learn what people thought computer science was. They think it's a lot of different things, that it is and that it isn't. And so it was a real learning process for us. It told us what we needed to do. So it was very interesting. And so we started to develop plans because we knew we wanted an overall plan for a PK-12 computer science pathway. So we developed a computer science steering committee internally that had people on it that knew about computer science and people that didn't. And we developed a community advisory committee that was external. And when we started developing that committee, you know, it was smaller initially. And we just, you know, went to people that we knew in the community that had connections to computer science in some way. And in our connections with those people, we asked them who else they thought should be part of the computer science advisory committee, because they had really good ideas of who else should be involved. So if you want to forward, Kim. So that's how we got started. And so these are the 3 committees that we started with and that we continue with. The lead team, like I said, has grown, and the advisory committee has grown as well, because the people that are on the committee have helped us to grow that committee. And so the purpose of the lead team, we meet on a regular basis. We meet every couple of weeks, and it's just to keep the momentum going and keep everybody working on the things that need to be worked on. The purpose of the community advisory committee, we meet once a year. We meet during this week of the year because we decided to focus on meeting during Computer Science Week. We meet tomorrow night. This week we're meeting virtually this time. And it's really, the purpose is for us to get input from them, for them to see what it is that we're doing, and for us to get input from them on whether they believe that this is meeting the needs of the labor market and what needs to happen. And for them to just give us input on the best direction to go. And then the internal steering committee is comprised of teachers and principals and things within the committee, in the district. And so they hear the input of the advisory committee. And then that becomes what we bring back as we, you know, form what we're going to do within the district. So if you want to forward that, or I mean, forward the slide deck, please, Kim. So this is what makes up our lead team. So you can see there, I'm on the lead team, and our director of technology, coordinator for the technology learning coaches, and then we have computer science teachers at the high school, the middle school, the intermediate, and then we have an elementary technology learning coach. So we meet every other week, and it's just keeping us on track on each of the things that we need to be working on. So you want to forward? And then the steering committee, again, I just, you know, mentioned this is pretty much a lot of different people on that steering committee. The steering committee does not meet as often, but if we need to pull together for input, we have a committee that's together to do that. And then the next slide is the advisory committee. And this is where I said we pull people from all different parts of the community. So we have people that are in IT roles within our community. They're in businesses, they're in healthcare, financial institutions, corporations, parents, nonprofits, all different people from throughout the community. We have communities from a variety of different roles. We have post-secondary institution CS representatives. We have people from our educational foundation. we have alumni that might be in IT education right now, that they're going through their programs to eventually be in careers in that area, or they're already in the field. And then, as Kimberly mentioned, she's a part of ours, Amy Byers with Teals, and also part of the ecosystem that we've created. And then Michelle Schuler. So these are all people that are part of our community advisory committee. And you can see it's a variety of different roles. So they're really able to help us in a lot of different areas. And they're connected to a lot of different parts of the community. So we can connect with them throughout the year, even though we come together just for one meeting through the year. We do make connections with them during the year if there's something that we need their assistance with. So if you want to go to the next slide, please, Kim. So then in 1920, so this would have been last year, the things that we did. We developed programming before last year started for our K4 level, because we did courses at the K4 level. And then we also did new courses at the 7-8 level. So we did that programming over the summer, and then we implemented those during the school year. So every student at the K4 level got computer science weekly, and 7th graders got computer science. And then we began planning what would happen at the high school level, and started promoting that for students so that they could take those courses this year. We also enrolled in Teals, and we started doing that this year, that we have a volunteer at our high school that mentors students with the Teals program. And then we began planning some changes in the 5-6 based upon what we were doing at the K4 level. And we also planned a 5-8 girls code event that we would be doing in 1920. Unfortunately, we weren't able to hold it because it happened the week that the Safer at Home order went in. But we were pretty excited because we had over 100 girls sign up for it in less than a week. So we know that there definitely is interest in it. The community advisory committee met, and we had, we really have been working on looking at that female and male student enrollment and staff planning, so that we have a mix of both, so that the female teachers will help attract the female students as well. So if you want to forward, please. So that leads us to this year. So last winter, we were pretty excited that our lead team was awarded a grant to go to the CS for All Script Symposium in Texas. And that gave us the opportunity to really put together some detailed plans. And so that's helped us move forward even further. And it gave us the opportunity to talk with a lot of other districts from around the nation on what they're doing in terms of computer science. So, so we did that in January. And then the Girls at Code event that I talked about, we did a workshop with Women in Technology, which they're really great to work with in terms of doing that. And so we did that. And then of course we were going to do the event, but we weren't able to hold it because of the Safer at Home order. The Brown County Computer Science Ecosystem Youth program kicked off. So pretty excited about our involvement with that, and being able to learn from other districts as well as help other districts. And then we didn't get to hold the workshop, but we're still wanting to do that as soon as we're able to get back to a little bit more safety in larger gatherings. We want to get the girls together to do that. We've really been collaborating a lot with NWTC. And so we're really close to NWTC. We're only like 10 minutes away from them. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to align the courses that we're developing at Bayport with NWTC. So Chad, do you want to jump in and talk a little bit more about that? How we're kind of doing that together with them?
Sure, I can jump in. So last spring we began meeting with NWTC to discuss what courses that we're developing would align with some of their IT programs. And to this point in time, we've come to an agreement on a new course at Howard Swamico. Our cybersecurity and ethical hacking class can be awarded advanced standing within one of the IT programs at NWTC. It's going to be seen as an advanced standing course equivalent to the Cisco Network Essentials course that's part of a variety of their IT programs. And we've also looked at a few other options. We offer both the AP Computer Science classes at Bayport, and one of them is Java focused, which aligns fairly closely with their Java course available at NWTC in the software developer program. And the APCS Principles course does align with their Intro to Logic course as well at NWTC. So those three classes we're looking at first. And we are looking at potentially offering a new course, not next year, but the following year, that aligns directly with a brand new intro survey course that NWTC is developing for all of their IT programs.
So the goal is collaborating with NWTC so the students automatically see a pathway to continue. We also, as we get started here, we want to make that connection with, make a connection with UWGB as well, so that we can see that students will see pathways to continue locally in computer science, so we can kind of keep their interest here as well, that hopefully kids will see opportunities to do computer science in this area, and then hopefully keep them local. That's one of the things with the ecosystem, is how do we keep their interest then in this area, so we meet the needs of the labor market and IT in this area. So so those are some of the efforts that we're trying to do. So then the K4 innovation, where we talked about that, really working with computer science with students at the K4 level, reviewed that over the summer. And then as fall got started here, of course, for everybody, a very unique fall with the pandemic. But we've started with our new high school courses and our TEALS volunteer. And then Chad was at the middle school before, and Chad moved to the high school this year, starting the new courses at the high school, and then working with our TEALS volunteer. And then we brought in someone new. We brought in Macy at the middle school, who is teaching computer science to all 7th graders at the middle school. So now all 7th graders will get computer science. And then we're working on some revisions at the 5th and 6th grade level. And at the K4 level, what we're trying to move to, instead of the innovation classes, we're actually trying to move to phase in computer science immersion. So been a little bit of a challenge with the pandemic, so that slowed us down a bit, but the goal is to actually get to computer science immersion. So that over the next few years is what we'll be working on. And then the innovation studios, we've opened innovation studios at the K4 level. And then continued collaboration and course development, of course, with NWTC, as Chad talked about, an AI boot camp that he's done with that with some of the students. And then CyberStart America Student Support Group has been formed. Chad, did you want to fill in any more on those two items?
Sure, I can note that NWTC was one of, I believe, 5 sites around the country this fall that was awarded, I guess, the opportunity to offer the Mark Cuban Foundation AI Bootcamp. And it was 4 consecutive weekends that students participated. It was about 20, 25 students from Northeast Wisconsin that participated in that 4-weekend session. It ran from noon to 5 p.m. And we had a variety of guest presenters, nationally recognize experts in AI from academia and from industry that presented to our students. And the Cyber Start America program is, some of you might be familiar with that. It's run through the SANS Institute. It is a game-based platform, but it can also be viewed as a competition, and students can earn scholarship money by participating in the Cyber Start America game/competition.
So what we're finding a lot, as we're really trying to update what we've done in computer science and, really putting that focus on new opportunities for students, is that students are gaining more interest as things are being updated. So even though we had things happening before in the district, updates were definitely needed. And we just needed to put more of a focus on ensuring that every student had these opportunities and all students had that exposure. So the equity piece. And so, again, we're not done. We have a lot of work to keep doing to make sure that all of these things are happening at all grade levels. And when you think about what we're doing, like at the K4 level, 5, 6, and as we move on through, it'll be, how do we adjust what happens as kids have more experience all the way through? It's going to have to constantly be adjusting to making sure that we're updated. But we're excited about the response of the students so far. And, we just look forward to keep working on it and see how it goes. So happy to take questions if people have questions.
Thank you, Becky. You guys are doing some amazing work there. If folks have questions, go ahead and use the chat window if you're microphone shy. Otherwise, feel free to open up your microphone, and we've got a little time here. Becky and Chad can answer some questions.
Sure, I have a question. So I know you talked a lot about, updating the classes and, introducing new classes. What did you see that was lacking from your previous program, and what were the new classes that you put in? It seemed like you said you're adding some equity pieces. So where there's like some students weren't ready for some classes, and then you had some more introductory classes, or so what specifically did you update, to improve your program? That's what I'm a little bit curious about. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think Chad's putting a link in there because Chad is one who really worked a lot on what the classes would be. I think, just overall, we had, the classes that we had before just hadn't been updated for years. And so kids were wanting something different. And when you take computer science and you don't update it for years, it's just not as applicable. But Chad, you want to speak into, because you coming new into the district last year, Chad came in and he came to us because he and I talked, and I said, I just really want to design a computer science K-12 pathway that's really updated and aligns to the labor market and doing something different. I happen to have a computer science background, but it's been a lot of years since I taught computer science. Chad is a computer science major, really focused in that area, updated on, what we need to do in computer science. So we started working on what does it need to look like? And, he's got some really good ideas. So Chad, why don't you jump in?
Sure. I think you should all have access to the Google Doc that I linked in the chat. And essentially, what did it look like before? So before this school year, the opportunities, at least at the high school level, were strictly independent study online courses offered through the Adhesive platform. So some of you might be familiar with Adhesive, but those were the only opportunities. So there were a series of courses that built on sort of a foundational CS1 course, but they were all independent study, strictly online. So ironically, this school year, we've kind of morphed some of the planned course content into our online and hybrid environment. But if you have the graphic open, you can see The courses listed with a green background, those are the courses running this school year. The artificial intelligence class is in the course guidebook for next school year. So that's a new course that students can register for. It's a semester-long course. And then beyond that, beyond next year, looking at the potential for a semester-long data science focused class, one that's focused on cloud computing and web app development, and a third focused on smart devices and wearable tech. And one that's not on this pathway that could potentially be added is I referenced that NWTC is developing a new IT survey course that all of the NWTC associate's degree students will have to take. And it's one that we could also offer at Bayport, but it won't be available for us to offer until the fall of 2022. So.
Yeah, that's great. That's definitely what I was looking for. So I appreciate that. I'm also from a CS background, so also computer science major. So nice there. I definitely am sort of looking at, I like how, so you are teaching this semester the ones in green, right? That's what I got out of that, like, in person, not in person, but like with teachers in the building.
Yes. So
okay.
The courses in green are being taught in Howard Swamico. We're in our fully virtual right now, but we'll be likely moving back to our hybrid sort of plan B model.
Yep. Okay, that's awesome. Yeah. So what I was really curious about too is, how are the enrollment in the classes? Are a lot of students taking cybersecurity and ethical hacking, or is AP Computer Science really gaining a lot of enrollment? What are students interested in taking here?
So, being the first year that these courses were new, and they were somewhat promoted last January, February, when course registration was rolling out for high school students. The enrollment is definitely better than it has been in the past. We're just running 2 sections at this point of our intro keys to computer science. And then any student who had taken one of those adhesive independent study courses in the past could also enroll in our AP CSA or AP CS Principles classes, which we have increased enrollment in as well. And there's just one section of that new cybersecurity and ethical hacking course running. It's running second semester this school year. So we'll see where it goes. We're hopeful to do a bunch more promotion this school year going into course registration for students for next school year.
Right. Awesome. Yeah. I was just curious because, the CS program, where I'm a teacher at, it's really new. It's fledging. And I'm just sort of curious, as far as, what's working, what are students, the most important thing is that students take the class. So what classes are students interested in taking? So that's really what I was curious about. And so I appreciate the chart, definitely gives some, I think, good ideas and teaching some good concepts and interesting concepts here, that are definitely used in the field. And I'm kind of curious here too. I don't really see any web app developments on the far right. Okay, sounds good. All right, thank you.
Great. So for those who don't recognize the voice, that's Drew Phillips. He is a new computer science teacher down in the Sheboygan area school district, and he is looking to reach out and connect with other CS teachers here in Northeast Wisconsin. Drew, if I'm not mistaken, this is your first semester as a teacher.
Yep, that's right. Yep, I was working in industry before, and I decided to jump ship and go to education. So this is my first semester. Yep.
So we appreciate those of you who are willing to jump from industry to education, as opposed to what we see all too often the other way. So thank you. And other questions from the group?
Yeah, I have a question. This is Dave Gunlock in the Oshkosh School District. As you went through, and this is a fantastic presentation. You've done amazing work here, something to really be proud of. As you've gone through this, one of the barriers we're seeing is what I guess I call curricular space. As you begin to add these terrific opportunities, did you get pushback that you were somehow pushing out other areas of the curriculum? That's my first question. The second question is, did you have issues running some of these classes in early numbers? You know, were the numbers too low and you had to kind of put extra budget money to it? And if so, how did that go?
Yeah, those are good questions. So what we did when you look like at the younger levels, we tried to get computer science in more at the elementary level. And we actually built it in as a rotation with like Phi-Ed and music and things like that. That's how we built it in as a rotation to get it started, with the idea that eventually that wouldn't happen because we would be doing immersion and then it would be built right into what was happening in all classes. So it would just be a part of classes and that wouldn't be needed. At the middle level, the 5-8, it becomes part of the classes that kids rotate through, like the art and the music, and rotated in like where they have classes for a quarter and that sort of thing. So that's how we built it into a rotation there, so they would have that experience. So all kids rotate through it. Then when you get to the high school, it's an elective. So we decided that they had to rotate through it at the, we have a 5-6 building and a 7-8 building. So they have to rotate through it there. So they have it in 5th or 6th, and then they take it at the 7th grade level. So when they get to the high school, it's an elective. So it's not a required course at the high school level. So that's how we decided to do it. I know some high schools are making it required. We decided if we expose them at the K-8 level, hopefully they've had enough exposure that by the time they go to the high school, they'd have the opportunity to have a great selection of electives.
Okay, so next up, we're going to go into some breakout rooms. And I've already assigned you each to the small breakouts. We have 3 individuals who have agreed to be our discussion leaders. And they're going to take you through the 3 questions you see here. We're going to use your feedback to help with planning of our sessions for the 2021 calendar year. So we'd love to know, what topics would you like to see discussed in the new CS Advisory Board meetings? That way, that'll help us find speakers who can come in and share words of wisdom with you. We'd love to hear what challenges your district is facing with implementing computer science pathways. Again, because that can help inform us on either initiatives we can help implement, or again, additional discussions that we can help facilitate. And likewise, we'd love to hear about successes. It's through learning about successes like Howard Swamico's that we were able to invite Becky and her team here today to share what they're doing with you. So what successes is your district having? And then we're going to, in your breakout rooms, we're going to leverage something called idea boards. And I'm going to just show you really quick how these work. In the idea board, you're going to use the little plus symbol up here next to the topic header to create a sticky note. And you can then enter your great idea there. And if somebody really likes your idea, then they can come back and click the little number in the lower left-hand corner, and they click on the thumbs up and close it. And then there's a vote for that great idea. We're going to collect all the different ideas that you come up with in today's session.
So our group was comprised of individuals from the technical college. I'm from Marine Park Technical College, UWGB. We had representatives from K-12, Howard Swamico and Sheboygan School District, as well as an industry partner from WOW Logistics. So some of the things that we talked about in relation to potential topics that we'd like to see would be the idea of generating interest among girls to take CS electives. Short of financial contributions, how can the average business support the new CS advisory board? One group shared that they would like to see other district pathways to compare and to help guide their CS development. Bridging the digital divide, generating understanding of CS among Board of Education and school districts. What can we do more of to shift more students to technical degrees? From a teacher's perspective, I'd like to see the group highlight specific classes that is really effective in terms of generating interest, and then merging CS and other content areas. So we had a few likes, and one of them that had the most likes was seeing other district pathways. So what are other K-12s doing? I also enjoyed seeing Howard Swamico's today. That was a good one. Some of the challenges that we talked about as a group was helping CS find its place among other content areas, developing dual credit opportunities among institutions of higher ed and K-12, but then to go hand in hand with that, connecting the high school teachers with the college faculty and staff, decreasing attrition rates among students who take their initial CS courses, and developing a computer immersion model pre-K-12 to support and enhance other content areas instead of teaching in isolation. And lastly, some successes identified by our group was partnering with a higher education institution, making great progress of developing a deeper understanding of what CS is and what it isn't to help ignite interest in potential career paths. And then UWGB partnered with Howard Swamico in engineering and would like to do the same with computer science. So some good examples there.
Thank you. All right, next up, John, let's, we're gonna go in reverse order, I think. You wanna?
Very good. It was neat to hear Bobby walk through their ideas, because I think we're gonna see how a number of us identified some similar topics. That'll be neat to go through, look at the data afterwards, Kim. I'm gonna hit a couple of the highlights from the topics we'd like to see. So stackable credentials and articulation opportunities that make sense. That was alluded to. The continued examples of school districts growing and working well, like we saw with Howard Swamico today, like we've seen with Kimberly in the past, for those of us that have been attending these for a while. Seeing not only the here we are, but we're successful now, but kind of here's the journey we went through, here are the challenges. I think that's where most of us are really going to learn from these different comments that we hear from folks and presentations. And then the other one would have been key skills and concepts to help scaffold students as they move from middle to high school, that kind of bridging those two opportunities. We jump into challenges. I think the big one here is knowing what to offer. There are so many options in computer science and STEM and technology, all electives. We can't offer everything well. How do we pick that? The other one is, where does CS fall? There were some discussions of where does it fall? Is this in math? Is this CTE? There was a huge talk about teacher certification being a huge challenge. And that obviously got the most votes for us. And then balancing career pathway and articulation opportunity, again, as a challenge. Successes, we didn't rank successes. These are all successes. They're all wonderful successes. We talked about the local CS advisory boards. We talk about the fact that students really do want to learn these new technologies. I think if we said just students want to learn programming, we could probably argue that, and I would say no. But now we're talking some pretty cool technologies, and I think students really do want to know that. We've had great success with the TEALs. There were a couple of blocks that jumped up with TEALs that everyone was typing that in. We got the computer science talent ecosystem, the codewisco.com, which is just a very great site, very, very classy, very slick site. So we highlighted a couple of successes that we're having as well. Thank you.
So, thank you. And before we jump on to the last group, I'm just gonna I don't know if everybody knows about the CS for All script program. I'm just going to quick go out to the website, and it's been a little bit since I've been out here, but they've got a really great rubric to help if you're looking for a place to start. Now, that said, Becky will be a fantastic resource for questions. Sorry, Becky, if I just have caused your inbox to implode. But out here, under their resources, they have the script rubric. And this, I feel, is really informative because what they've done is they've taken different categories of activities within a district and kind of said, now here's the maturation process here. So, you know, curricular selection, for example, novice through highly developed. Do you have K-12 alignment and progression? And it really just walks you through a lot of different areas. So those were a few examples under materials and curriculum selection. Then they have a whole set of, whole rubric set in here for leadership, and it just continues on. So if you're not familiar with this or you haven't heard of this tool, go out here and check the rubric out, just take a peek at it and maybe start, even if you're not experts in it, maybe start using it to take a deeper think about how to maybe incorporate some of this in your own district.
So Kim, I'm going to jump on real quick and
I can pop in too, Amy.
Tina, you go right ahead. You're the expert on it.
Hi, everybody. Again, my name is Tina Lovins. I work over at CISA 7. I'm the Math and Digital Learning Specialist. This past January, I had the opportunity to go down to Texas also with Howard Swamico, and I became a training facilitator of the script process. As part of the Brown County ecosystem for youth, we are we're facilitating script workshops for our Brown County districts, and we're looking to expand that also. So even if you're not a Brown County school district, you can contact us and we can work with you to go through the process. Basically what we do is we take a look at what does computer science look like for your school district. It may look different in the different school districts based on what your priorities are and what your current initiatives are, because what we want to do is we want to align the computer science to your initiatives so that it does become a program that is sustainable. Then we look at the five different factors, as you can see in that rubric that Kim was sharing with you. We look at the leadership component, we look at curriculum, we look at teacher capacity, and we look at community and partnerships. We look to see where you are as a school district, a K-12 systematic school district, where your current reality is. And then we look at setting goals for 3-month, 6-month, and long-term goals to see how we can grow that computer science program in your school district so we can move away from those pockets of excellence, whether it's at a grade level or in between teachers, and we can have that equitable computer science opportunity for all of your students K-12. And then we follow that up with our 3-month, 6-month, and usually a 9 or 12-month workshop. For example, our 3-month workshop is going to be taking a look at the computer science standards that the state of Wisconsin has. And we're going to be taking a look at that and looking at what the criteria is for the different grade bands and really start building the capacity in that area.
All right. Thank you, Tina. So folks, Tina's your go-to gal for all things script. But yeah, definitely I would encourage you to go out, jump out, take a look at that. I do want, Jakob, if you want to do a report out for your group now, that would be great. And then we'll go into the last couple of wrap-up slides and we'll be done.
All right, great. So we had some good discussions around equity as a theme here, and we saw that come up both as a topic and some challenges in discussing some of the different dimensions of equity, whether it's differences in teacher preparation or certification, as one of the other groups talked about. And it got to this and when you start talking about embedding computer science into content areas, the teacher preparation becomes even more critical, that some teachers are going to be have an easier time at doing that integration than others. And there's poverty, and there are resource issues between schools, and there's a rural urban divide, and there's access to internet issues that all feed into that equity issue. So that was kind of a big topic that we were talking about in several of these categories. We also talked quite a bit about the challenges, and this is more of an immediate need right now, of getting speakers into the classroom. So in this virtual environment, the students are all zoomed out, and they don't care to watch more video. And so trying to get guest speakers in to liven up the day is a challenge. And of course, field trips are impossible. So looking for ideas and suggestions for how to make that more engaging to get those speakers in, because students certainly do enjoy them and get something out of them. One of the successes that we had was one of the school districts who created a bridge course in middle school. So they had done quite a bit of work in elementary school and in high school with doing computer science in both of those areas, but realized that middle school was sort of a desert. And so they integrated this digital life skills course into the family and consumer education, I think is the area that it was integrated in. So it became part of that offering as just another life skill. So that seemed like a good idea. Let's see, we also talked about the challenges of building, it's that sharing information, but it's really about building support for programs that are going on within the school. So whether it's bringing in partners to showcase, or just showcasing to the community what all the cool things are that are going on in the CS area. And I think the rest of them were very much covered by other groups. So let's just keep it short.
Excellent. Well, thank you. So great ideas. So what I'll do now is I will be taking all of those ideas that you guys have all generated, and I'll be collating them and using that then to inform our activities for this next year. All right, and that brings us back to our wrap up here. So last but not least, there are some dates for you guys. We do have our next quarterly meeting. Now this will be a little bit more industry focused, but it does give an opportunity for you guys are very welcome to attend. Gives an opportunity to connect with some more folks in industry. And then our computer science advisory board meetings. These are not yet out on our event page. I had to do, as my daughter put it, calendar Sudoku earlier today to try and figure out all the different meetings for the 2021 year. We will be getting the CS Advisory Board meetings out on our event page. Once I take a look at your feedback on regards to, do we do 3 advisory or 4 advisory meetings? That will determine whether we meet on September 30th or not. And then you can see we'll also be launching on March 1st our Digital Learning Opportunities Survey. That will go out to all of our K-12 educators. Your superintendents are the ones who receive those. I will also copy the CS Advisory Board distribution list on that. We do appreciate your feedback. That helps us understand how we're progressing in the region. So as we partner with TEALS, with the script folks, the CISAs, and Microsoft, and all of the others that we collaborate with, it helps us understand, are we moving the needle here in Northeast Wisconsin when it comes to digital skill set education for students. And then of course, just a reminder, go and check out all the wonderful things on codewisco.com. That is the CSTEY website, and they have got a lot of wonderful things out there, including some event materials that you'll not necessarily find out on the New Digital Alliance event pages. So with that, I wish you all a very happy holidays coming up and a happy new year. and hope to see you at one of our upcoming meetings. Thank you.